Okay class, here we go. First lesson. This is going to be our introduction to astronomy, kind of our first pre-class before we start the actual material. So, general introduction. I just want to talk to you about the class and what we're going to be doing and the structure of the class and the format of the class. There are 3 books for this class that I will be teaching from that you do not have to have. Is the first one, Apologia. We're going to use this one to study modern astronomy, what we've learned with tools, satellites, telescopes, and all that stuff. The second book is called Signs and Seasons, and this one is going to help us with our classical astronomy, the history of astronomy, the significance of astronomy. It takes astronomy from the point of view of standing on Earth and what you can see with your eyes, observable astronomy. And the last one, this is not the actual book. I gave the book to Dan because he's researching it for some projects and field trips, but it is the Answers in Genesis book. I won't be using that one to teach out of, but it will be the basis for a lot of our projects and activities. It has some fantastic ideas for those things. Okay, let's talk class format. How are we actually going to learn this astronomy stuff and get through our curriculum? First, it's going to be at home. You guys are going to watch videos at home. That's going to be the lecture. I'm going to introduce new material, explain new concepts, and basically teach you all the things in the textbook that you need to know. Traditionally, that's what you would do in class, but we're going to do things a little differently this year, and I'm going to teach it to you at home on video, and we're going to do more activity in class. So what kind of activity, you might ask? Well, first, we're going to review. So whatever we did on the video, we're going to review it and figure out what the most important pieces of information are so you can memorize them and hold on to them for the final exam. Yes, there will be a final. And then we're going to actually apply it. So the information that you learned, I'm going to give you opportunities to respond, both written and verbal. So you have to practice your writing skills. For example, I may say something like, "The moon is made of green cheese." And you will need to take your newfound knowledge from the video and from the review, and you're going to need to explain to me why the moon is indeed not made of green cheese. Or you may have a written response to say, write a paragraph correcting me why the moon is not made of green cheese, and do it with a harsh tone or do it with a gentle tone so you can practice your communication in the written form as well. So responses will be geared to different people based on their age and their experience, but you can rest assured I will challenge you with them. Lastly is the activity. I wanted to be able to do the lecture at home so you could watch it while you're having snacks and drinking a glass of milk, and you can pause me if you need to go to the bathroom. But in class, I wanted to be able to have activities so we could illustrate concepts and put our hands on, do things like experimentation and discovery. This is kind of our adventure part of learning how to take these things and play with them and understand them in the physical world around us. So I wanted to leave class time for more active things than me just talking to you, but that's why you have to sit through videos like this. So, video, watch it at home, review, responses, activity, that's going to be our class format. Okay, now let's talk about the hope or the big picture for this class. I have this big dream picture idea of what I want to accomplish with astronomy, and it's essentially worship. I want to learn to worship with astronomy, and the way we're going to do that is by finding relationships in things. Astronomy relates to history. Astronomy didn't pop up overnight. It was discovered and revealed over time through different scientists who made different discoveries. Astronomy is related to math, another subject you study. There's formulas for discovering and determining the orbits of planets around the sun and moons around planets. It can relate to music, as many songs were inspired by the heavens and the night skies. It can relate to art, as you can paint and communicate, or words, as you try to communicate understanding. So astronomy relates to all these other subjects that you're studying. And I want to explore those relationships simply because Jesus, one of his names is the Logos, or the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. So Jesus himself being the one who holds all things together. Let me read this verse to you. It's in Colossians 1:15-17. He, Jesus, is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by him Jesus, all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. So Jesus is the one that connects all things and holds all things together. We want to explore those relationships because you'll especially find out as you get older that real creativity is about applying different subjects and different disciplines and bringing them together to come up with new combinations and things that have never been done or tried before. So one of my big picture hopes is learning to discover your strengths and find out how, if you're a mathematician, you could make a unique contribution to the subject of astronomy. Or if you were an artist, you could find inspiration and messages that you want to communicate, and understanding that you want to communicate through your art. So my big picture hope is all about creativity and worship, learning to see how God connects these things and holds them all together. Oh, excuse me, let me put down my warm and delicious hot chocolate there and talk with you about our academic goal. This is going to be the hard part of the class. So at the very end of the class, I'm going to test you on everything we learned. It's going to be a final exam. So part of the goal is in academics, people give you exams and quizzes and tests, and I actually want to be your friend in this. I want to help you to master the art of test taking and the art of studying and memorizing and being prepared for these things so that you can stay calm under pressure. I also want you to be stretched and challenged and grow. So the end of the class is going to be a final exam. We're going to take all of the things that you learned in the lectures, all the things that we studied in our review time, and we're going to condense them together and find out just how much you remembered and retained. Don't be worried about this because I really want to help you become a master test taker. I want to teach you how to study. But I want it to be something that'll challenge and something that'll stretch and something that you can walk away from and know that you did a good job and feel like you accomplished something other than watching just a few videos online and attending some classes. I want you to know that you did well, and I want to help you do that. So look forward to the final exam. Da, 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 da. Okay, lastly, let's talk about the materials you're going to need for class. This is what you're going to need. A single subject, spiral bound notebook. That's it. That's all you need. One notebook, single subject, thin, spiral bound. I bought all the textbooks and I'm doing all the videos, so all you have to do is show up and learn, but that notebook is going to be where you're going to keep your notes that you're going to need for the final exam. And it's also where you're going to be able to write some of your responses during the class time together. But that's it. You just need to, next time you go to the grocery store, find a single subject spiral bound notebook that costs about 88 cents and bring one home and bring it with you every single class. Make sure you don't forget it. Okay, that was just a quick introduction to what this class is going to be about. I should have the first instructional video up here shortly that you can watch before our first class. And I'll see you in class soon.